Welcome to the long-awaited return of Cinematic Anarchy, which is, I don't know how long-awaited it actually is. I've been out for like 2 months and took a little break from my mental health, switched over some jobs, and we're back for Season 8. This is the first episode, and today we are sitting with Beverly. Hello, Bev. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, you?
I'm doing all right outside of the fact that I feel like I've lost about 4 hours of my life to a movie that was the black hole void of shark movies.
Yeah.
And if you can't tell, and I'm praying to God that most of you can't tell, we are going to be watching or talking about having watched Shark
Not watch it again.
Exorcist. No, I don't want to watch it again. I am not interested in watching it again. Please tell me where it is you found this film, because I want to burn it with fire.
I honestly can't remember how I stumbled upon this film. I think it was when I was doing research for one of the other 20,000 shark exploitation films there are out there, where they listed, the alternative shark titles. And I think Shark Exorcist was one of those ones that was listed. And I was like, no, that could be different. And it's one of those ones then that lodged itself in the back of your head. And you thought, well, it's not going to be an Oscar-winning film, obviously, but I thought it might have been something that was so bad it's good. Unfortunately, I was very, very, very wrong. I need to apologise to Jurassic Shark, who's been the punching bag for the last sort of 8 years of, oh, well, it's not as bad as Jurassic Shark. No, there's a new contender for that now, and that is now Shark Exorcist. So all films will be, it's not as bad as Shark Exorcist.
It cannot possibly be worse than Shark Exorcist. This film, honestly, I don't think it's the dialogue that ruined it. I think it was legitimately the people they chose as actors.
Oh, I don't know. There's some really terrible dialogue in there, though.
I feel like these actresses got chosen for this movie specifically because they were willing to parade around in a bikini on screen. That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
So anybody with any legitimate acting chops would have been like, do we have to be in the bikini the entire time? Like, do I have to go to the park and laid out in a bikini? Is it necessary?
On a overcast day as well. It makes me laugh. They go, oh, we're going to go sun tanning. But the sky is full of clouds. How much tanning are you going to do?
She went and suntanned. That particular girl, the lake victim, went and suntanned in the one place that was shady. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Cancer, but...
So initially, my first thought was the fact that the only actress in this film that actually knew how to act was the sorority girl, because she just sort of seemed to it's easy to pick out the good actors in a movie where most of the actors are shit.
Yeah.
The other one is the what was it? The leader of, was it Ghost Whackers?
Oh,
Nancy something or other.
Yeah. That was that's not good acting. That was, I mean, for British viewers, that's the Derek Acora level of acting, and my British people will know exactly what I'm referring to.
To call anybody in this film a good actor is like calling, I want to say, your average politician a good person. Okay? It's subjective based on what you're watching.
True.
So the one that played the leader of the Ghost Whackers, Nancy, was better than all the other people who were the worst actors I've ever seen. And I'm going to say this outright, because we're going to, you have the name of the movie out there on YouTube and wherever else we put this up. You're going to see that we're reviewing Shark Exorcist. So actors and actresses from Shark Exorcist, if you hear me trashing your performances, I'm sorry. I feel how I feel about it. I you made a movie. I will give you that. You put together, you made a movie. There's a sequel out there for God knows what reason, and I can be proud of you for putting something out there and having the innovation to do that. You gonna get an Oscar? No. Was it good enough to even get a Razzie? No. But it was special.
And I was quite surprised as well when I was doing research that the director has been directing films for decades. This isn't some new kind of young upstart. I mean, I think he's been directing films since like the 70s. I've got it listed somewhere. And I think his first film was called Cannibal Hookers. And his most recent film, which I think was from last year, was Amityville Aliens. So he obviously has very much a style that he sticks to. And he's also directed a film called Bigfoot Exorcist. So
Bigfoot Exorcist. I apologize, Bev. There seems to be something coming over your side of the microphone.
oh, that might be me scrolling through the document. That might be me pressing.
It sounded like a hammer. Just I had no idea. I thought there was a
Yeah,
woodpecker loose
that
in
was
your
me scrolling
apartment.
through the document. The mic is a little close to the keyboard, so that's what it was.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense then. Yeah, I saw that he had been around and he had done a bunch of stuff, but it's almost all on this level.
Yeah.
It's not like he's ever done anything that was like high-end independent. It's kind of like I want to call it the low-end midnight version of like sci-fi channel movies, where you expected to see like a two-headed sharktopus or something.
Yeah. But even those films are miles better than this.
Those films are infinitely better than this.
Yeah.
I can at least enjoy a film that somehow managed to grab Debbie Gibson and make her into an actor, or Tiffany, the pop star mall queen.
Yeah.
And I actually feel bad that my kids don't get that, by the way.
I think this is when I talk about the difference between a bad film and an ugly film. I think that's a great comparison. That often, not always, but often those sci-fi films or sci-fi channel films fall into the bad category. This is definitely an ugly film because there's very little to kind of enjoy about it. You try and look for positives, and like I said, they made a film and good on them. But beyond that, there's not a lot to kind of go, well, at least they got this right.
Yeah, I can't say that I've watched it twice. I can't say that I had a moment in this film where I thought, hey, they got this right. This movie for me, and I'm actually kind of tempted, by the way, to watch the sequel. It would be pure torture, I know, but I've already watched this one. I'm kind of committed to the horror of having to sit down and watch another 2 hours of this. Like, is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse?
Well, I don't know if it's going to get worse. It's certainly not going to get better.
No, it's certainly not going to get better. But I thought this movie was... So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it just feels like a collection of scenes that they then strung together to make a film. Like I said, you had like the ghost whackers, and then you had the sunbathing lot, and then you had the sorority girls, and then you had that weird seance in a graveyard, and then you had the character, and I'm not sure if she was meant to be a child or an adult with learning disabilities that she meets in the playground. That was very uncomfortable because I wasn't quite sure what they were going for with that character, but there was just lots of little scenes strung together rather than a flowing film.
I feel, okay, and I'm saying this from my own perspective. I had a thing that I did with my kids a while back. You can probably find it attached to our YouTube channel. It's called Dead Children at Play. And I feel like this was the worst version of what I did with those little, just short things that I did with my kids. Basically, it was my kids and a bunch of their friends, and they all wanted to play like zombies and or survivors in a world where only children survived. Like whatever
Okay.
virus it was killed off the adults and just left kids alive.
Kind of like the zombie version of Children of the Corn.
Pretty much, pretty much. But we didn't script that. We didn't have a plan for that. It just we decided to film things and have things happen as they happened, and that's
Yeah.
kind of how this felt.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like there was a plot. There's sort of a what if we do this? What if we do this next? What if we do this next? Well, it doesn't really fit with the rest of the story. Well, we're not really trying to make it fit now, are we?
Yeah.
So
I suppose we should clarify that why this film is called The Shark Exorcist is the film opens with a nun killing a random woman in broad daylight as a sacrifice so that a demon can enter a great white shark.
and the actual Shark Exorcist in this film, the priest, doesn't last very long.
No.
No. So the guy that
And
basically would have been the main character by name of this film alone,
yeah,
right? I mean, did they not have a movie called like Possessed Shark or Demon Shark already?
probably.
Probably. So they couldn't go that way. Yeah.
But also it was
Worst
really
see
confusing. It was also really confusing. I think if they just stuck to the shark being demon possessed, that might have been okay. But the fact then that one of the very first girls that got attacked is then also possessed by the demon and then is luring people to the shark, I think. I think that was a bit confusing.
I feel like it might have been like mind control or something, like the demon and the shark using the human to lure them back for feeding or
Yeah,
lure other people back for feeding.
which I don't think was really needed if that's such a prominent place for people to go swim in anyway, which seemed to be the premise. Then why do you need somebody to lure people there anyway?
Right. By the way, worst shark CGI ever.
Yes. Yeah.
Outside, worst shark CGI I've ever seen outside of what was it? Jaws 3. There's a really bad CGI scene in Jaws 3 where the shark is coming at them.
Yeah, that very slow-mo attack. But I don't know, there's something about that still feels better than the shark in this stuff.
Well, that's because that was Jaws, and outside of that, the acting was all right.
Yeah, possibly,
You
yeah.
know, you still had Leah Thompson and Dennis Quaid to get through that movie. We have somebody I'm never going to recognize and somebody whose name I'm never going to remember in this. That's what we have.
I do know that the first victim, which is Ali, and the first man that she kills, they're actually husband and wife in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I did not know that. Yeah, I saw it. That was like at the top of the credits. They both shared the same last name, so I didn't realize that was by marriage.
Yes.
Uh,
And also,
I
what did you think about the random Quentin Tarantino foot fetish scenes at the beginning when when they're driving in the car, they kept focusing on her feet. I was like, why?
like I said, I think the guy that made this film specifically made this film because he could kind of get a little bit of his fetishism out. Like there was that whole uncomfortably long scene about the random guy that's just taking pictures of this girl in the park.
Yeah.
Like, and it was so uncomfortably long. Like he had to
Yes.
scroll through every photo that he took.
And got
And it's like,
so
why?
close to her as well. Like he was like literally, I'm sure she must have been able to feel his breath on her. He got that close. And then she woke up and he disappeared. And it was like, well, what was the point of that?
Apparently, we have Ninja Perv.
Yeah. God, don't give him ideas for another film, for Christ's sake.
Okay, I Do not make a movie called Ninja Perv. Please. Do not. I feel like this guy would make that just to, oh, more girls in bikinis and feet. Yeah, Ninja
Yeah.
Perv.
And there's also that really weird dialogue moment where one of the bikini girls are found dead and the bloke is throwing up and he goes, I'd still do her though. Like, dude, you're throwing up and she's dead. These two things do not make sexy times.
She's dead and you're over here like necrophilia. You know, some of these jokes were a little off. Like, it felt like frat boy comedy. Like, I feel like he definitely got some, like, sorority girls from a local sorority to do this. It feels like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Was this supposed to be, like, North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that?
yeah, it's Paris Landing State Park, which is an actual state park.
What's the location on that? I'm just curious. Because I feel like Paris Island, that's around North Carolina. No, South Carolina. Sorry. North Carolina, South Carolina? I'm trying to remember. I went to Paris Island once to pick up a buddy of mine from the Marine Corps. So I'm asking you information that you got to research like mid-podcast.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It was Tennessee, apparently.
Tennessee? Okay, way off. I'm way off. So basically, we have an entire movie where we have demonically possessed sharks, ninja pervs. We got witches in the middle of the middle of nowhere, satanic nuns. We've got some girl who has a deep shark fetish to the point that apparently she is the first one possessed. That's the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
No, I don't understand either of the... Well, at least the second post-credit scene did involve a character from the actual film. But I'm sure the first post-credit scene, though, I have no idea what that woman...
I would have to go find the second post-credit scene because I think the version that I watched on Tubi didn't give me a second one. It just gave me the first one.
Oh, so I also watched it on Tubi. And yeah, so you've got the woman who's at an aquarium, who keeps rubbing her face with a plushy shark.
I felt like something really uncomfortable was going to happen there. I'm like, oh, this is getting a little creepy.
Yeah. And then you had a few more credits, and then you had the woman from Ghost Whackers throwing up in her hands and then rubbing it all over her face. That's the second post-credit scene.
Okay. That I did not see. I think I know what happened there. I don't think it was that it wasn't on there. I think that by the time the credits started rolling again, I wasn't acknowledging it enough and it just moved on to a new movie.
Yeah,
you know how
probably.
Like Tubi will be like, you're done watching this, now watch this, you know?
Yeah.
So
you didn't obviously you didn't miss anything. It was like a minute scene, if that, and it was just... I have a very poor gag reflex, and just having somebody throw up and then rub it on their face for no apparent reason after sitting through the rest of the shit film was just the chicky cherry on this Sunday of
shit film. Oh. I think that my Tubi feed now thinks that I'm absolutely insane. I really do, because I only watch like these shittiest movies on Tubi because they're free and I don't want to pay for them.
Yeah.
It's like, how bad was this movie? Oh, this has a 20% First of all, this has a 21% Rotten Tomato rating. This.
I know.
Has a Rotten Tomato rating of 21%. How? How is this not a dead zero?
Yeah. So I think it's something like 1.6 on IMDb, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, which is close to what a 20% for would be for. Yeah, 1.4.
Oh, 1.4, there you go.
1.4. So that is definitely close. It's got a 1.4 on Letterboxd, which is even more generous, if you think about it. Because Letterboxd is 1 out of 5. So that's still...
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a half a star when I letterboxed it, and that was just because it felt like I had to put something.
You can't give it a 0, unfortunately. Yeah. I got to actually start using Letterboxd and then petition them to give us a 0 rating because, oh my God, I would zero out so many things that I've watched lately. So the Exorcist priest is not believable. The
Nope.
voiceover at the beginning of when you see the Exorcist priest is terrible. It's slow, it's painful. Like, why did you have to find some guy that sounded like drunken Jeb from the Beverly Hillbillies?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes, the developmentally disabled girl that uh
Yeah.
sorry, I do have it playing in the background, and I was like, developmentally disabled girl, and I was like, okay, I see what you're talking about. The girl who's running around the playground that seems a little off. I don't think she's developmentally disabled. I just think
Yeah.
she's kind of crazy.
Okay.
Like,
I wasn't sure if it was
running
meant to
around
be a
with
child, and they just couldn't get a child to be in the film because obviously the first scene she's at a playground. It, and then they cut, and then the girl says to her, "Hey, what do you like to do for fun?" She goes, "I like to get wet," which is another joke that's kind of like, um. And then they end up at the background at a backyard swimming pool, and she's circling this girl, this crazy girl, let's say. And
right.
it's almost like she's trying to seduce her. And I'm like, this is really, really uncomfortable. And then the Ali, the girl that is possessed, she's just about to attack. And then she wakes up in bed and it's all a dream. And I'm going, wait, what?
Huh?
What is going on?
Because at this point, we're supposed to believe that Allie is both possessed, but also doesn't realize she's possessed. Like, whatever she's doing or whatever killing she's doing is a dream state to her,
I
maybe?
think so. It's almost like she's in a trance and she doesn't know what she's doing, I think, but it's not clear at all.
It's
All we
another
know
one
is
of
that,
those things that you don't realize, or it doesn't fit, I should say.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, why are we
the only
doing this?
Yeah, the only hint that they give is since the attack, she's now obsessed with water. She likes to have baths now instead of showers.
Right. Uh, I I'm trying to find good things to say about this film. I really am. I haven't come up with one yet. If I come up with one, I'll tell you. Uh,
The reason why I think that she might have become possessed by the shark rather than the shark just taking her over is there is a scene where they're at the like fairground carnival type place
right.
where her friend is now dating her boyfriend. I think that's how that worked.
I think
And so
if you
she goes
listen
to
to the exchange near the beginning, just after she got bit by the shark, I did pay enough attention for this. And she's talking to her friend, like, don't mess around with her boyfriend. She's going to be so pissed, and this, that, and the
Yeah,
other thing. I think it's that she's trying to move in on the boyfriend, and the interactions that you were getting was just him not really being that interested. Like, nah, I don't want to do this. Nah, I don't want to do
yeah.
this. And she's
But
getting
when
upset
she,
about it.
yeah, but when she sees them at this carnival type thing, she has really weird teeth. And it's almost like her teeth have become shark-like. That's
Right.
the only thing that makes me think that she's becoming possessed by the demon shark rather than the demon shark using mental tele telepathy to control her. But again, that's just stabs in the dark.
I want to say that they put that much thought into it. Uh, instead of just going, now you got teeth,
Yeah,
but how does she how do we basically move the possession from one like character to another? Oh, it's either by bite or by like bile. They throw up on your face. Okay, yeah. I could see demonic possession passed by pea soup. Yes.
yeah.
Uh, I need one explanation, one solid explanation for one thing. What the hell is with Cosmic Sky Shark?
Oh, yes!
Why is it at one point during the movie they're just like, oh my god, and it's coming from the sky? Is it because he's still supposed to be like a spiritual entity or something? Like it's the
No,
demon of a shark, or
because it's during that exorcism scene, isn't it, that he comes from the sky, and you're just thinking, Well, wait,
They
what?
do it one other time too.
Oh, I must have
I'm
blinked
trying
and
to
missed
remember.
that.
There was a second time later on, but
I'll
that's the
take your
first
word for
time they
that.
have Sky Shark.
I mean, there is a film called Sky Sharks, which is probably better than this film.
Again, anything. I would watch Garbage Pail Kids again before this. And that's saying something. Because that was my low bar. That was like, okay, but it's not Garbage Pail Kids, the movie.
Yeah,
Now it's going to be, well, it's not Shark Exorcist. So,
yeah,
at least there's certain films that know what they are. You have bad CGI Croc. The bad CGI,
yeah.
literally the name is Bad CGI Croc,
Yeah, I mean, they're not particularly. I mean, I'm not particularly keen on these films, but even like the Birdemic films, the very first one, especially, it knew what it was. Obviously, once
Right.
James knew the joke, the other films then weren't as funny because he's now playing up to the mistakes that he made in the first one. But yeah, this just has nothing. There's no, like I said, I was hoping it would be a funny film that we can laugh about all the things that you usually get in So Bad They're Good films. The bad acting, the bad, dialogue, the questionable choices and that. And there's just no joy in this film. And I think that's what makes it such an ugly film, is there's just no joy there.
Even the lines are delivered like, I'm here. I'm here. That's it. The lines
Yeah,
are
it does
just
make you
delivered with boredom.
yeah, it does make you wonder, like, was this like a one take job because they couldn't afford to do multiple takes? Or is it the other extreme that this is now take 100 and they're like, yeah, we're done with this shit. Why are you making us do it again and again? And then that's
I
why they sound
full
bored.
I full well know that is the reason that the blonde girl, what is her name in this film? The one that ends up hitting on Allie's boyfriend later on. Uh,
If you could put up with me
the one that
tapping,
doesn't deliver her lines like she wants to even be in the movie. It's like I
well, there's
memorized the lines, but
the
hmm?
three girls are Lauren, Emily, and Ali. Ali is the one that gets possessed. I
Right.
can't remember which one's Lauren and which one's Emily.
I think it's Emily, the blonde. The one that ends up hitting on her boyfriend. That entire scene, she's not allowed to talk. They take the dialogue audio out of it completely.
Mm.
Right, which I'm fine with, because every scene she was in up till then, whenever she talked, I was just like, can you deliver your lines like you're trying to have a conversation with a human being?
And also, did you think,
You
in the
know?
car scene when they're traveling to the lake, they were all looking at their phones? I reckon they were reading the lines off the phones because that's what it felt like. They were literally reading what was on their phones.
Pretend like you're on your phone, but like, read,
Yeah,
you
here's
know?
your lines. There's less for you to learn.
Oh. And the fact that at this point we've talked about this movie for a half hour when it didn't really even deserve 10 to 15 minutes. You know, uh, the only reason I'm interested in watching Shark Exorcist 2 Unholy Waters is because I'm hoping that there's an actual exorcist in the film that's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because the one in this film was just fodder for another joke.
Yeah.
That's it. So,
Oh, and also the soundtrack for the film, it did feel like somebody just put the sampler on like a Casio keyboard and then just went, yeah, that'll do. That'll be our music.
at best, at best, at worst, they were like, we have a really bad shark movie. Chat GPT, give me the worst music you can put with that. No, that even worse. Like we want like, B grade, filmed out of the back end of your mom and dad's garage porn music. That's what we're looking for, because that's what it
Yeah.
felt like. It's
Now that's another thing.
terrible. And it's the same thing
I
every
do have,
time anything significant happens.
yeah, that same kind of like plinky keyboard stuff. Um, Going back to the random guy that is watching and then photographing the woman at the end of the film, that is actually the director.
I mean, appropriate that he embodies the creepy role in a creepy movie. Because the
Yeah.
movie itself, the way the dialogue is delivered, some of the jokes that are delivered, it felt like it was written by a frat boy that had watched entirely too much weird porn, like just weird stuff.
Yeah,
It's
it
like, so
does
we're
have that
focused on the
element
girls
of,
in bikinis. We're getting a lot of. Huh?
yeah, yeah, it does have that element of like this originally started, the script was a softcore porn, and then they realized they couldn't actually get anybody to have sex, so just took the sex out and left the rest.
I'm guessing that they were going to try to convince these girls to do full on nudity in the movie, and they were all like, and so they leaned hard into some really bad sex jokes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if we're not going to do that, nobody's going to really be interested in this because this is definitely the acting level that you would want to lean on the TNA in the movie.
Yes, and you know, we don't get that either, which is fair enough. I don't blame
Look,
any of the girls in this film
I'm
for
not
not
trying
wanting
to
to get
sound like a
exploited.
I'm not trying to sound like a misogynistic pig or anything to that nature, but I am fully aware that there's an entire genre of films like this out there that they know they are so bad that they can only go in one of two directions. Either ramp up the gore, which they did not do here, they couldn't do gore or special effects worth anything, or
No,
ramp up the nudity, which they couldn't get either. And
yeah,
so they tried to be funny, and none of that landed.
no. So I think the budget for
So
the film was about $300,000, which is not really a lot of money to make a film.
300, okay. I believe that they made Basket Case on less and it was a much better movie.
Oh, yeah.
The original Basket Case film from like the 1970s. This film, $300,000, they couldn't afford like a gore budget at all. Did they put that all into the shark?
Or the actresses, maybe.
Oh, I don't feel any of them got paid. If they were getting
Oh
paid
God,
for this, they probably would have had a little bit more life in the delivery, you know?
true. Oh yeah,
Uh,
there's also I'm just scrolling through my notes, and there is that really going
I
back
can hear.
to Nancy, our ghost whacker. Um, there's a
Oh,
really
good Lord.
weird, and again another, and I think it's meant to be another humorous moment where she's writhing around on the floor with the spirit of the water to enter her, and she keeps shouting, "Come inside me!" And you're just thinking,
Yeah, like I said, they were doing creepy, weird sex jokes, and their jokes didn't even land. Like,
yeah,
you can't, I want to say, you can't take a bunch of people that don't deliver their lines with charisma and decide, okay, we can't do the nudity, so let's do jokes. You have to have somebody that's able to deliver a line to get a joke to land. They did
and I think
not.
that's part of the problem. It was played all too straight. And I think if they'd played it with a little bit more of a wink nudge at the camera, then that probably would have helped it a little bit.
So I'm sitting here in the background. Is it Ronnie? Sorry, Ronnie Jonah, who plays Nancy in that film, The Ghost Whacker, is actually a Canadian professional wrestler.
Oh,
In her,
okay, I did not see that coming.
I can kind of see it now though, because that
Yeah.
definitely explains why she has that weird over the top charisma.
Mm.
Like she's trying to deliver like a way out there wrestling promo.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Yeah, no, Canadian. I'm not looking up any of the other actors and
No.
actresses because that does. It's not worth my time. But
And
Definitely.
so the film is sandwiched with this demonic nun. So obviously the opening scene, we see the demonic nun murder somebody in broad daylight. And then at the end of the film, then after the creepy guy is taking photos of this random woman, the demon nun appears again and goes through the whole process again. But the girl that was killed in the opening scene does a Jason Voorhees and pulls her into the lake, I assume to feed her to the shark. And then that's when before the credits end, we see Emily and Lauren one more time. And it seems now Emily is possessed by the shark and kills Lauren. I mean, this film has more endings than the bloody Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Yep, and I honestly, the entire time I was like, why couldn't Lauren have died earlier?
Yep.
Why did we have to wait? That shouldn't have been your closing moment. You should have taken your least charismatic actress out. Like, it should have been the revenge. Like, this girl is hitting on my boyfriend. I'm going to eat her now.
Yeah,
you know?
that should be the first one.
Actually, I think that was what the intent was before the ineffective exorcist came in.
Yeah, and that was a really weird exorcism as well, because they tied Ali to a tree.
Yeah.
So they took her to a wooded area, tied her to a tree, and performed...
I don't know why.
An exorcism, quote unquote.
The power of Jaws compels you. The power of Jaws compels you. I don't know.
I was getting Manos Hands of Fate flashbacks with that scene.
I would watch Manos Hands of Fate before I watch this again.
Yes, definitely.
Because that, at least, for me anyway, still falls into the so bad it's good kind of category, you know? This is just pain. Pain. I'm going to give it to the Canadian wrestler. Ronnie James, you're probably the best actress in the film. I enjoyed that. And now I can enjoy it more knowing that charisma comes from your life as a Canadian professional wrestler. I don't know what the sorority girl's excuse is. I don't know why she was one of the better actors.
Yeah. Oh, also, going back to the sorority girls, I'm surprised they didn't make any fat jokes with the larger lady that was part of the sorority. Because when I saw her, I was like, oh, are we now going to do a bit of fat shaming? And thankfully, the film didn't go down that road. So at least that. There you go. There's your positive. It doesn't fat shame.
There you go. So they could have leaned into the fat jokes if they really wanted to, and they didn't. So, okay, yeah, I can give that to them.
There you go.
The one positive thing about, and the fact that I know that one of the lead actresses is a Canadian professional wrestler who I will never look up a match for. Yeah. Just, I know where the charisma came from. There was one other positive to the film. It ended.
Eventually.
So that was positive. Creepy sex jokes aside, like, I mean, every aspect that they tried to lean into this weird kind of sexual vibe that you can tell that the script was supposed to be something a bit more graphic in that area. It's like, we know this is going to be bad, so we're going to need nudity. And then they couldn't get anybody to do the nudity. So they were like, okay, we got to cut all that shit out and we just got to lean into the bad shark vibe of it. And they didn't even really do that. Okay. Wow. Do you hear that running by my house at all?
Yes.
Did that not come over the mic?
It did.
Okay. Okay, so we just had some serious Latino music just pounding. It shook my windows. Told you they like their loud cars around here. They like the loud cars, the loud engines, and loud music. And it's always fun when it happens at 2 o'clock in the morning because I live next to a damn gas station. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of other things to say about this movie. Otherwise, my ADHD would keep me like way off track. I am surprised at how focused I am on trying to think about things to say about this movie, considering how bad my ADHD is.
Yeah.
This should be the movie. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I had originally planned this for Bad Film Night, but the person I was going to make watch this ended up being too ill to come round. So he has dodged a bullet there, because if I'd made him watch this, I think that might have ended the friendship.
He dodged a cannonball. This isn't just a bullet. This is a full like cast iron cannonball coming at you. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, which they have for IMDb, I'm not even giving it a 1.4. Like, I think the lowest they go is a 1, if I'm not mistaken. You can't rate it lower than a 1, and it wouldn't
No,
get
you
much
can't.
more than a 1 for me. I think
Yeah,
anybody
same.
that gave them the 0.4 part of it, it was because of Ronnie James. My brain went to
Yeah.
Dio for a minute there. Ronnie James Dio. That's not who that is. That's not who
I mean,
that
that would have made it
is.
more interesting film.
Ronnie James Dio as the ghost whacker. Yeah, Ronnie Jonah.
I think Dio should have been the Exorcist. That would have been perfect.
If you look at her like old photos, she had like jet black hair as part of her gear, her getup. She could have done the Exorcist part pretty well. Just pull the hair back, and would have
Yeah.
been better than the weird Italian guy they had do it.
Mm. Which I
Who
don't
it
think is
looks
actually Italian.
he looks like a stand-in for like a stunt double for Andy Garcia. You know, we need somebody that almost looks like Andy Garcia but knows how to just
Yeah.
stand there.
Yeah. Yeah, your Timu version of Andy Garcia.
Yeah, pretty much. Young Andy Garcia, not current Andy Garcia. Uh,
No.
yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain for other things to say about this movie, but I'll be honest with you, I think that's enough. I
Yeah.
can't imagine talking for another half hour trying to just pull stuff out of my ass to say about this film. Thank you
No
for
worries.
bringing to my attention a new low bar in film.
Yeah, I'm going to be careful what I say
Uh,
in the
because
podcast
that's what
going
it's going to be
forward.
for me. I'm gonna walk over to the folks. Can't be any worse than this. It's like, well, I mean, you can go back and say, okay, well, this is how I felt back then. That was, Jurassic Shark was the low bar.
Yeah.
And then somebody came around and said, by the way, here's something lower.
Yeah.
So I've watched some
And it's
tragically
another
bad
section in
movies.
my
There's
book.
only one
Yeah.
thing that stands out in my mind, which is worse than this, but I don't add it to the low bar because I don't think it's a movie.
Oh.
Some random person. I was looking for movies to review, like, hey, send me your film. If you got it on Tubi, you got it, on if it's out on YouTube. Some people just self-publish on YouTube or various other places. I'm like, just send me your film and we'll watch it and we'll talk about it, right? And this woman sent me a film called like The Fridge or The Refrigerator or something weird like that. And the
I
cover art
think
is just literally an open refrigerator.
we've either
Did I talk
discussed this
about
on a
this before?
podcast or we've mentioned it through direct messaging. But this is yes, because I told you about
Yes. Well, that
the Pantry Ghost. There's a documentary on Amazon
yes.
called The Pantry Ghost, and it feels like a very similar thing about a ghost that's in a pantry. Which, for 45 minutes, you're watching this going, but there isn't. What are you talking about? I mean, most of it is just a camera pointed at a pantry. So I think, yeah, we need that double
No.
feature with the fridge is where hell is at.
So if you're ever going to try to get me to watch The Fridge, it will be the reason I never podcast again. Uh, I've done this once because at the time I was doing it, it was like maybe the second year of the podcast, and COVID had hit, and I had nothing fucking better to do with my life. And this person reached out to me, said, "Well, I got a found footage drama," which sort of set me off, because found footage films aren't generally dramas. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll watch a 35-minute found footage drama. And what this was, and I'm warning off anybody that's actually watching the podcast right now, what this was is a found footage film. Literally, somebody found an old VHS or VHS-C cassette of a bunch of kids arguing over a refrigerator and food that was in the refrigerator or was not in the refrigerator. And that's all it was. Just somebody having taped a bunch of their friends arguing over somebody stealing their food out of the fridge.
Okay.
That's what it was. And I feel like it wasn't even their film. I feel like they found a cassette and just uploaded it to Tubi to see how many people they could sucker into watching the damn thing, and it still exists to this day.
Wow.
So if some weirdo tells you to watch some found footage drama called The Fridge, burn it with fire. Burn it with fire.
I'll
Yep.
probably also, unfriend that friend as well.
Unfriend them. Block them.
Yeah.
Warn people.
But
If
never
you see
fight.
this
No, no,
account,
don't.
burn it with fire. I should have known better. I saw the person's profile, and nowhere on that profile was this film. Nowhere. So, like, you're promoting a film that you don't even want to show to the public to begin with. It's like, just get some random podcaster to talk about it. And here I am. I'm talking about it, aren't I?
Yeah. Wasn't April
Mission
Fool's by
fucking
any chance?
accomplished. No, it was nowhere near April. I think it was like midwinter, you know, at a point where you're already stuck in the house and can't go anywhere. And now it's COVID, so you're really stuck in the house and can't go anywhere. So that was my own version of hell, was watching that 35-minute thing and being stuck in a house going, I need to go for a walk and I can't go for a walk. I need to go for a walk and I can't go for a walk. I have no liquor in the house. I can't drink this out of my head. Shark Exorcist managed to do that by itself, though. I
Yeah.
watched it once, and the next day it was like a night of drinking because I didn't remember a thing. And then I
Yeah, I
watched
had
it
to.
today, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's why it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to take notes when I'm watching a film because I like to watch it clean. Often like I said, with friends and that. Then I watch it a second time to take notes. The film was so dull that I had to take notes there and then in the first viewing just to keep some sort of engagement in place, because otherwise I would have just been on
You're
my
like, this is
phone.
really
Just
bad. I need to document this because otherwise it's not going to get any of my attention at all.
yeah. And I'm so annoyed that when I was doing research and then it said, oh, there's 2 post-credit scenes, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it now, aren't I, to find these post-credit scenes. So I watched the whole film on a speed of 1 times 1 plus 1.5 times speed. So I kind of sped raced through it just so I could get to the end credits and then watch these 2 end credit scenes, and I was like, well, that was worth my time.
I want to say to Tubi, to National Geographic, where the fuck did my head go for a minute there? To Tubi, to Netflix, not National Geographic. The addition
that could
of
be a
the
whole
button that
interesting part of
allows you to
Shark
speed up the film. National Geographic shark movies. This bad. Yeah. Oh, no. This... I appreciate that they add the little feature that allows you to speed up the film to 2 times the speed, especially for a movie that I feel is absolute junk that I need to watch more than once because of the podcasts. You know, there's some
Yeah.
places that don't allow you that pleasure of being able to, oh, this is terrible. You know, it would be really funny. Let's watch them like they're on speed, you know.
Yeah. Put the Benny Hill theme tune in the background and you'd be good to go.
I told my friends, I go, if you ever really get bored by the podcast, here's what you do. I go, if you go on Spotify, you can slow down the podcast
Yeah.
to 0.5, and then it sounds like we are drunk the entire time we're doing this. It sounds like we've been drinking way too much. We're slurring our words. Go for it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for bringing this low bar and cinema to me, to my attention. I will curse you in a few because I feel like I'm going to watch the sequel just to see if it's possible that they might have learned from their mistakes. So I may write to you randomly at like 12 a.m. my time, being like, I drank too much, smoked too much, and then I watched this film and I can't get up. What the hell have you done to me? Outside of that, please go ahead and tell our good friends here at Cinematic Anarchy where they can find your book.
Yep. So I have a book. It's the A to Z of the So Bad They're Good, the Bad, and the Ugly horror films, and it is available through Amazon at whatever area you reside at.
I got my copy here. It's still on my shelf, sitting over there. I've used it to find a couple of films that I regret.
Probably not as much as this.
I'm all about bad movies and regrets. The problem is I need to stop watching bad movies by myself. I need to invite people over here to watch bad movies with, because
Yes.
I feel like the people I live with, as much as I love them, the garbage that I watch on a continual basis would make them run screaming from the room. So I've tried, and there's been some movies that they've sat down and watched with me. And then they're just like, can we wait a few more months before we try this again, please? So
I mean, that's the plus side of living on my own.
I gotta get a little
we
friend
talk to
base that
myself.
wants to, right? I haven't talked to just myself in a long time, so I don't entertain me very well. That's where I think the bad movies come in. I have a whole collection of them, and then I watch bad movies, and I'm like, wow, that was trash. And nobody else was here to see it. Damn it.
Yeah.
And as for our podcast, you can find our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and literally anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. There's a whole plethora of episodes out there. We're not one of those folks that are like, hey, we're going to archive season 1 and then like re-release it as like the best of. Because I've gone back and listened to some of my stuff, and calling anything that I've done in the past the best of, it's like setting that bar, Remember that low bar? Well, here's the low bar. No, we've done some decent stuff. I glad we're doing season 8, and we're hoping to actually do a full year this time. I don't think past 2.5 years we've only gotten out like half the year's worth of episodes. We don't do a full 52. We haven't in a couple years, and we're trying to line up some filmmakers, some other people to do some stuff with us. And if it works, then it works, and we have a lot to do. And if it doesn't work, then somehow I might disappear for another mental health break and focus on some other things. But I'm getting excited again. And this movie starting off there is no movie that we can watch the remainder of the year that will be worse than this.
I'm going to say we've set the bar pretty low, so anything else can only improve.
So that is what I'm going to leave you with today. If you or any of our viewers or listeners out there can find a movie worse than The Shark Exorcist, send us a copy, send us a link. Just hit me up in some random chat somewhere and be like, watch this garbage that I made. And I'm going to watch it because I want to constantly find the low bar now. Because this is a low bar. But if there's lower, I want to know. And don't make me watch Fridge. Fuck Fridge. I'm good. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to do the water thing right now. That is going to be how I end this podcast. Thank you for listening to Cinematic Anarchy, and fuck Fridge.